Hello and welcome to today's planning briefing. My name is Leanne. It is February 4th and I'm going to be going over the week or the next several days worth of weather impacts, and there are plenty. So this could be a lengthy briefing, so strap yourselves in. Let's start with the summary. This is a difficult forecast. There's a lot of things going on, a lot at play, and a lot of things that will depend on certain antecedent conditions in order for precipitation types to be determined. So the snow levels ultimately will determine who gets what precip and when between the time frame of Wednesday and Thursday, and I'll delve into this quite a bit as we go forward. We are expecting, and we have higher confidence in, a prolonged snow event for mountains and mountain passes Wednesday through Friday and possibly longer into the weekend. And of course, beyond that, we do feel pretty good that a prolonged cold pattern will continue henceforth, and it could last as long as 2 weeks from now. So certainly not what we've seen. This should be a lot more wintry compared to the last several months, but a lot of difficult stuff in the next in the coming days ahead, I should say. So we're looking at snow the first round, which is Wednesday morning through Thursday morning, and here's what we are forecasting for this period of time. Initially, conditions will be cold enough for snow at all elevations, though quite a bit more is expected in higher terrain as compared to valleys. Snow levels will rise through central Idaho late in the day Wednesday and then through western Montana on Thursday. But we have low confidence in this because the models are struggling with the timing of the warm air and just how warm certain places could get. Now we have higher confidence in some of the locations in central Idaho and less confidence the further into western Montana you get. So this current graphic is for Wednesday morning through Thursday morning. Then we get a continuation of the snow Thursday morning through Friday morning, and this is where things really get difficult. We feel pretty good that Idaho valleys will transition to rain as snow levels rise in that area by this time. We're still expecting continuous snow in terrain roughly above the 4,500 to 5,000 foot range. Meanwhile, snow levels will start to rise in west central Montana, but not as quickly or as high as we once thought. So the models are still trying to sort through this, and because this is an atmospheric river and it's coming in from the northwest, we normally see atmospheric rivers come in like from the west or the southwest, so it has a better chance at bringing in warmer air from that direction. But this is coming in from the northwest, which is very odd. So models are having a harder time deciphering who's going to get warm and who isn't. So keeping this in mind, the graphic here shows that Missoula and the Bitterroot and places around there show 0 inches. But if the snow levels don't rise as quickly as we anticipate at this current time, Missoula could get as high as 2 inches of snow. Excuse me. Now the Bitterroot says 0, but the foothills, benches, and surrounding areas could see up to 3 inches of snow. So, the difference between 0 and 2 and 0 and 3 could make for a difficult commute, or at least a tricky one. And the timing is crucial. So right now we're labeling this a low confidence snow forecast based solely upon the fact that the snow levels are really difficult. Let's get into that actually. I have them here. So we start out Wednesday morning on the left and Wednesday evening. So we're starting off with the snow levels well in valley locations, even below. Then they start to rise by Wednesday evening. We start to see the 3,000, the 4,000 foot snow levels in central Idaho. Meanwhile, western Montana is still pretty cold. Then we go forward Wednesday night on the left side. You start to see some 5,000 foot snow levels in central Idaho and some 3,000 to 2,000 foot numbers over in western Montana. That will then rise Thursday afternoon. Still, some heavily populated areas in western Montana are still cold enough to support all snow. This is the Thursday afternoon graphic. So what does that mean? We could see a heavy, dense, wet type of snow in some places of western Montana, specifically Missoula, Bitterroot Valley, Seeley Lake, up to Big Fork, around those areas. Meanwhile, things have transitioned to rain over in central Idaho, at least in the valleys. All elevations in central Idaho should remain fairly decent with snow. So it's a steady snow event for places like Elk City and Pierce and along Highway 12 and that sort of thing. But things are really difficult over in west central Montana and northwest Montana. We're not expecting a whole lot in northwest Montana. Most of the focus is to the south of there, around the mountains, mostly in the mountains of central Idaho, the Bitterroots, and then over to the Sealy Swan down into the Philipsburg, Georgetown Lake area. So it's this time period from Wednesday night to Thursday afternoon that could dictate who gets what. Now, you'll notice on the left-hand side, some of the snow levels are higher than over on the Thursday afternoon. This is just a general output showing you where they'll be. Don't take these numbers as hard, fast numbers. This just a ballpark. So basically what we're saying is Wednesday night things should start to really come up, but not everywhere. And how far up will they go? That's going to be the main period of concern. And then they come right back down to valley floors, most valley floors, by Friday afternoon and evening. We're still hovering in the 4,000 foot range over in the Camas Prairie area of Idaho, down in Salmon, that sort of thing. So it may be slow to transition back to snow in those areas, but by this point we're cooling down enough and the colder air is settling in that most places should return back to snow. All right, let's hit spot by spot here, starting with Grangeville. Now I have highlighted here a red box with the footnote of period of most uncertainty, Wednesday afternoon and evening. That's due to those snow levels that I talked about earlier. If they rise too fast, if they rise too slow, those snow amounts could go up, and we might see a snow amount there after Wednesday 5 p.m. through 11 p.m. Wednesday. It's all going to totally be dictated by the snow levels. So confidence is low in this specific amount in this time period. So Missoula, also quite low, based on what I talked about earlier, the snow levels. Some models keep the cold air in the valley longer than others, which of course would result in a longer period of snowfall for Missoula, with amounts showing up in this red box where there are none currently. If it's colder for longer, obviously the snow amounts will go up. So right now we only have those few amounts from Wednesday morning through Wednesday evening, but we could definitely see snow continuing Thursday through Friday. Homestake Pass is pretty clear cut, snowing starting on Wednesday and probably not stopping until late Friday morning, even into Friday afternoon. Same for Lolo Pass, quite a bit of snow. They should be hit pretty good. Lolo Pass is looking real good. Evero Hill is going to be a trouble spot. They're oriented perfectly for this northwesterly type flow with plenty of moisture available, so they should be getting quite a bit of steady, moderate snowfall during this time period. And please feel free to pause this in the areas that you want to really dig into. I'm just going to skim through these as we go along to keep this brief. Lookout Pass, quite a bit of snow, pretty continuous, starting as early as tonight, so Tuesday evening, and continuing through the day Friday. Lost Trail Pass, you can see a steady rise of continuous moderate snow, even heavy snow by Thursday. Lost Trail is just in the perfect area, oriented perfectly with the upper level flow to just see pretty good steady snowfall rates. Philipsburg also quite good. Wednesday into Thursday will be a pretty important period of time for steady snowfall in this area. Polson, you'll be in and out, but there's that crucial time period there where there's a bunch of zeros that could fill up with light continuous snowfall as well. West Glacier, kind of the same thing. You guys are nestled right in there. You should stay cold and be nestled in the mountains enough to see some light snowfall continuously through this period. Kalispell, not so much. We're not expecting a whole lot there. And that's it for that period. So I talked about the prolonged cold snap that we're going to be in. Now, it's not like serious cold, but much colder than what we've seen and well below normal. So that's what this graphic shows, the 6 to 10 day outlook, showing that we will remain in an unseasonably cold pattern and with above normal favored precipitation outlook. So same time frame, 6 to 10 day outlook. So cold and active. Here's our threat matrix. We have highlighted the only place in high will be north central Idaho on Wednesday because of the heavy snowfall that's taking place. First in the valleys, you'll see, until those snow levels rise, but we have it red mostly for the higher elevations, the high elevation valleys, as well as the higher terrain being impacted with steady, moderate to heavy snowfall during this time. Everywhere else, you take your turn between low and moderate impacts. And, I didn't hit Saturday and Sunday too much because we had too much to talk about between Wednesday and Friday, but it does look like snow continues. And there's a really, really good chance of moderate impacts from valley snow Saturday into Sunday. We have another system with a very light flow, which should help snow accumulate down to valley floors and will be cold enough most places in western Montana and north central Idaho to accumulate valley snow. So we're keeping an eye on that, but we have enough to worry about between Wednesday and Friday. So if you'll join us on Thursday, we will go over all those things and more. Thank you for sitting through this, and give us a call if you have any questions.